Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Rosh Hashanah. We're beginning Parag Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Aleph, Mishnah 1. Okay. Ra'u Beis Din v'chol Yisrael. Let's say all the judges of the Beis Din saw, and all of Israel, meaning a large segment of the Jewish people, all saw the new moon. Everybody saw it. It's out there. There's nothing to talk about. Everybody sees it. Or Nechkaru ha'edim, or the witnesses were examined. There wasn't enough time to declare it as sanctified until it turned dark. So basically, what's happening is that the night of the 30th, they saw the new moon. They saw the new moon. Whether we're talking about the case where everybody saw it, whether we're talking about the witnesses saw it, they saw it on the 30th. And for some reason, and they were even examined. But for some reason, by the time the Beis Din was ready to declare Mekudesh, as we learned previously, they declare sanctified, it turned dark. It was ready to say Sakachabim, ready, the stars were out. Harezem Uber. This month is considered a full month, meaning the outgoing month is considered full. Meaning that day 30 will not be day 1. It will be day 30. A month that is 30 days is called Uber, it's called full. And day 31 is going to become the first day of the next month, whether they examine witnesses and don't examine witnesses, or say Mekudesh, don't say Mekudesh. At the end of the day, once you hit day 31, it's that day is Rosh Chodesh. The point of this Mishnah is two things. First of all, the first part of the Mishnah is the Beis Din saw in all of Israel. So you might think that in that situation you don't need witnesses. You don't need the witnesses. The Beis Din saw it. They have no questions, and everybody else saw it. It's clear. Everybody knows it's going to be. Everybody knows the new moon is there. Everybody knows it should be Rosh Chodesh. You might think there's no need to have to make that declaration of Mekudesh. You might think that way because the point of the Mishnah is everybody saw it, but they didn't get a chance to say Mekudesh, or the witnesses were examined, and for some reason, again, there was not enough time during the day for them to go and declare Mekudesh, that the month is sanctified. It's a new month. So first of all, the first part of the Mishnah is teaching us that, even though everybody saw it, it's clear. It's clear as night, right? Maybe you don't need anything. Finished. Everybody knows it. You don't need anything. So the point is you have to have Mekudesh. You have to have it. That's number one. Number two is a situation like this. We're talking, the second case of the Mishnah was the Eidim were examined and there was no time to say Mekudesh. Now, typically, a Beis Din does not accept testimony and make judgments at night. It's done by day. But there are certain cases, like by monetary law, I believe, where if, let's say, by day, the witnesses were examined, they can make the final decision at night. There are situations like that. Mishna is telling us here, when it comes to Kiddush HaChodesh, when it comes to establishing the new month, it doesn't work that way. It's not enough if I were, let's say, to examine the witnesses by day. They're examined. They've been examined. They're ready. Everything's ready to go. So I might think that the declaration of Mekudesh is like the rendering the final decision, which in certain cases, if the examination was done by day, the final decision can be made by night. When it comes to the new moon, it doesn't work that way. Everything must be by day. That's why the Mishnah says if the Eidim were examined, witnesses were examined, there was not enough time to say Mekudesh, it means they were examined by day. But there was no time to say Mekudesh to declare it sanctified until it came night. You can't do it. And now that 30th day becomes the last day of the month that's passed, and now day 31st is Rosh Chodesh. Now, what's interesting to note is that let's say it wasn't daytime anymore. It was after sunset, but the stars hadn't come out yet. So they examined the witnesses. They didn't say Mekudesh before sunset, but they have enough time to say Mekudesh before the stars come out. The halacha is they can do it then. They can do it then. For Kiddush HaChodesh, they have until actually when the stars come out. Once that's the cutoff. But until then, even though the sun is set, if it's not yet Tzeis HaKachamim, they'll be able to declare it. Okay? So basically the day is almost over, but if I can still get that last part of the day, that day becomes day one. So again, this is something that is it's kind of obvious, but you could go through day 30 and not find out until the end of day 30 that it was really day one. That's what could happen. Okay. What happens to all the karbanos and everything that I have to bring?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, Ra'u Bezdin, but now next case. Ra'u, but it's not unrelated. New case. Ra'u Bezdin Bovad. Let's say the court were the only ones who saw it. No one else saw the new moon. No one else showed up, right? They're waiting outside if they're waiting for the chutzner to get filled with people, no one showed up. Mm-hmm. And the only ones who saw it were the members of the basin, of the high court. Yamdu Shnayim v'Ida B'fneiim. Two of them should get up, meaning two of those judges should get up. V'Ida B'fneiim, and they should now testify in front of the rest of them. V'Yom Mekudesh Mekudesh, and they will then say that it has been sanctified. That's what again. What's the Mishna say? Only the Bezdin saw it. Two of them will now stand up and testify in front of the rest, and then they'll declare Mekudesh Mekudesh. Okay, now look at. I want to read to you from one of the notes here. In fact, the judges of a Beis Din can declare Rosh Chodesh based on their own sighting of the moon, without the testimony of any witnesses, because their sighting is at least as effective as hearing about the moon from witnesses. Let's say the Beis Din, right? It's the night of the 30th, and the Beis Din sees the new moon. Oh, I shouldn't say it that way. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to back off. Theoretically, if the Beis Din sees the new moon, right? The members of the high court see the new moon, they don't need witnesses. What witnesses makes it better? They saw it themselves. You need witnesses. However, in the Mishna's case, the Beis Din has to accept testimony because they saw the new moon at night. So just as night is not a valid time to accept a witness's testimony, so it is not a valid time for a Beis Din's own sighting to be treated as the equivalent of accepting testimony. Thus, despite the fact that the judges of the Beis Din saw the new moon themselves, they must still go through the process of hearing the testimony of witnesses. When they went ahead and they saw it at night, so you can't make Rosh Chodesh at night. Can't do it. You can't make Rosh Chodesh at night. So therefore, what's coming out is that they have to wait for the next day. If they have to wait for the next day, they have to go through the process of witnesses. For some reason, the next day, they can't just rely on what they saw last night. Not sure why. It's not going to work that way. For some reason, it sounds like really they could do it by themselves. So my understanding is, let's say they saw the new moon on the evening of the 30th, right? They see the new moon on which is possible, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning it's not the night, not the night leading into the 30th, the evening leading into the 30th, right? They see the new moon at that, by sunset. They see the new moon by sunset of the night 30, meaning leading into day 30, right? They saw it then. Could they at that point declare Mekudesh for the next day? Why not?
Should be able to.
It should be able to. Should be able to. It's still daytime. Mm-hmm. It's not night. It's still daytime. I mean, it's the daytime of the previous day, but at the end of the day, it's daytime. They saw the new moon. Well, they should be able to establish it. They could. But once it hits night, right? Once they see it at night when they can't be Mekadesh it, at that point, they cannot now they cannot on the next day just say, well, we saw it. What's that any different than witnesses? I'm not sure why, but the next day they can't themselves just be the ones to declare it. You got to have, that's what Mishna says. Two of them have to stand up and testify. Then you need witnesses. Like I say, I'm not sure why they can't do it the next day itself, but the next day itself, they can't just say, well, we saw it yesterday. What do we need witnesses for? The next day they have to go through the price, and the witnesses are the same people, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same people who saw it, but you have to go through the process now. Now you have to go through the process of witnesses like you would regularly if they didn't see it. Okay, next. Ra'uhu shaloisha v'hein Beis Din. In this case, I mean, in the case before, basically, Everybody of the basin, everybody of the high court saw it. Everybody saw it. The next case is like this: Ra'u shloish shavei basin. Only 3 people saw it. That's it. Right, again, we're talking about the members of the basin, but only 3 of them saw. That's it. Only 3 of them saw it. So what does the Mishnah say? What happens? Yamdu hashnayim. 2 of them get up. The yeshiva mechaverem eitzel hayachid, and they bring other of their colleagues to sit next to one of them. Meaning, the other colleagues didn't see the new moon, no different than usual, right? So they bring from their colleagues to sit in eitzel hayachid next to the one person. They shall testify in front of them. The Yom Mekudesh, and then the members of the basin will say, it's sanctified, it's sanctified. For an individual cannot be believed on his own. Now, the word neman, believed, is very interesting here, but what it really means here is that a single person cannot be a judge. So the point is like this. The point is that, so you got this case. 3 of the members of the high court, only those 3 saw the new moon, right? They saw it at night. Right. So the next day we got to go through we need the witnesses to testify. Okay. So how about doing it like this? How about doing it that 2 will testify in front of 1? 1 will be the judge. There'll be 1 judge, and 2 will be the witnesses. Why can't you do that? So you're going to tell me, well, a court has to have a minimum of 3, but not always. There are certain circumstances that when you have what's called a mumcha, a person who is an established expert in this area of Jewish law, he could be the one single witness. And in financial matters, that is so. Financial matters, if you have 1 person who's considered a mumcha, right, he could be the one judge to judge. So the Mishnah is saying by Kiddush HaChodesh, don't care how smart the guy is, how much he knows about Kiddush HaChodesh, it's not enough. You have to have a basin. You have to have a basin of 3. Got to have a basin of 3. So it's not enough for 2 of them to get up in front of 1. So 2 have to get up in front of 3. How do you get to 3? So really you have 2 choices. Really, you could either, take one of them and he'll be joined by 2 others to form a court of 3. So of the original 3 judges, 2 will be witnesses and 1 will be part of a 3-judge court. Or if you want, right, you could get a brand new court. Don't take any of the witnesses to be a judge. Get 3 new people, 3 judges. That's all you need. And 2 out of the 3 witnesses can testify. So it doesn't have to be the way the Mishnah says it. The point of the Mishnah is, though, you got to at least add 2. You can't have 1 alone. You can't have 1 alone. Okay. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.